Hi guys, welcome to Set and Forget Traders. We are doing the weekly analysis and the review for the coming week of week 26. Today being on a Sunday, we are having time off the charts so that we can be able to analyze. Now let's get straight into our analysis, guys. So we are checking on the daily time frame, and what you can see has been a very crazy week. We have seen buyers, sellers coming into the week, and this was the most crazy week for some people, but to us it was really a very interesting week. Why not? Here it is. So this is Friday last week. So the candle on Friday last week, you can notice it came pushed down below and closed at our pivot level 0.64868. On Monday, the market opened with a very bullish candle engulfing, meaning the retailers who are coming into the market on the first hand, they were liquidated. And you know what the price did? It went into this fresh demand zone. It was marked, it was identified, and it was observed that was the most accurate entry of the entire week. It came on Monday, and the big bullish candle effected, and you can see the blue dotted line 0.65484. It's a lower time frame demand level. It's hidden in the lower time frame levels, but it's the most useful price point that came in during this weekend. Buyers took price there and exited the market. The next day, the market fell, engulfing the previous daily volume and the price action. The next day, the candle went up, tried to wipe out the existing orders, and the high was not high enough to push out the buyers. The next day, on Thursday, the market came falling down, really wiping out the entire buyers present in the market. And on Friday, the price closed below. It has been a very crazy week, but those who had the best insight made the most money out of it. And where? Here. You can notice on our signals that we have sent, we hear the first entry. Let's check on the 4-hour time frame to see how it looks like. This is the candlestick on Monday. This is the last candle of last week, the previous week, not the last week. The candle closed here. Monday, we saw 3 bullish soldiers. And right after it closed, it opened our limit order because buyers were taking profit there. And we entered our sell order of the week. And you can see, guys, it has been protected up to the last minute of the week. The entry has been well protected, so meaning we had a very fair share of the market. That week we saw 3 waves present. 3 waves. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. So nothing happens just as a smooth way. Everything needs a resistance and a support. But our entry was the most accurate entry level of the entire week. Set and forget, this is how it means. So you might want to check what's happening the coming week. You can see even the price levels are really accurate, very accurate. This is the 4-hour time frame, and you can observe how intentional the market is really trying to mitigate the retail traders. So what are we expecting this coming week? We expect the price to fall or retest, but the demand zone is below the current price level of 0.64518. The demand zone is at the proximal line 0.64327 and 0.64187. What does this tell us? It tells us that there are no buyers existing at the current market, and the last buyers were at 0.64868. So the buyers that went below, that's why it was easy for the market to tank, and we're waiting for the buyers at the demand zone. You understand? Because buyers took profit. After they took profit, they had to come back here or to go below, and that's where they're hiding. So the market is allowed for sellers. And if Monday comes crazy and pushes price up, remember, we are not trading where the price level is. We wait for the market at the best premium level, and what we do, we push price back into the median price level. So we are hoping to see the buyers push price maybe to 0.64868, and then we'll push price lower. So we're going to wait for buyers at these two levels, 0.65484 and 0.65821. And in case they push price lower, we'll be waiting them at 0.64868. Yeah, so that's our weekly analysis in the demand chart. So you might be intrigued to ask, where are the buyers going if they come? So if the buyers are coming to take the demand zone, we're not going to enter. We're going to check on the 4-hour time frame at the lower time frame levels, and you'll be able to see that there are existing lower demand levels at 0.63912 and 0.6306. So that would be our entry level, so that we can, if price pushes outside the demand zone, we are going to allow it to. So remember, we said we have 3 waves. So the first wave, we expect the reaction at the demand zone. The second wave, we expect the reaction at the lower time frame, 0.63912, and the third reaction, we expect it at 0.6306. We're going to trade the fresh zones, and we're going to track price, and if price comes below and retested it, we're going to quit and wait for price at the next level. So let's check out the supply chart to see what the sellers are saying. So this supply chart is allowing us to know the intention of the sellers. And what you notice is that last week, the sellers on Friday of the previous week, on date 13th, yeah, it was a very Black Friday, the price pushed and they took their profits inside this supply chart. Yeah. And do you know what? On the Monday, the price just came, the sellers took profit and price went up. Do you see the most interesting thing about this chart? And then on Wednesday, the sellers came in again. And do you know where they took their profits at? At that level. And again on Thursday, on Wednesday, sorry guys, my back data. On Monday, the price, after sellers took profit at their supply level, the market went up. And on Tuesday, the sellers came in the market because the orders were present, and they pushed price back into the supply zone, taking profits at the proximal line of the supply zone, which is 0.64665. And on Wednesday, the price went up after the sellers are taken. You can see the low of the day cannot be identified. You only have 2 days that the market took profits there. And the next day, buyers went in. So on Thursday, the market pushed below, liquidating all the supply orders and breaking the supply level. And that's why you see on Friday, the candle is really making a very beautiful art. That's why you see that candle open at that proximal line of the supply level, because that's where the sellers are taking their profits, and that's how the market is played. Yeah, this level has been observed, we've identified it, and we have had it for the longest time. But you see, the price action is really confirming to us that laws cannot be changed, and they can only be just watched and carefully seek wisdom on how to apply them. Yeah, this is how it looks like. Friday came in very huge bearish candle. They took their profits. After taking profits, their volume reduces and buyers buy back. They took their profits again, buyers bought back. They came in, they took their profits, buyers on Monday, this is on Monday, buyers went crazy and sent some shock. But when you see on the bars, you see this is the 4 time frame. Yeah. And this is why it's so useful to have these 2 levels. So when you see the buyers You don't know if the buyers are taking profit, but on the demand chart, you're allowed to see the buyers, they took profits. On this side, you're allowed to see where sellers are taking profit. On this side, you're allowed to see where buyers are coming in the market. Yeah, that's how the market is being played. You can see even this is the daily candle where it started on Friday. It started exactly at the demand level. Yeah, this is so impressive. This is so impressive, guys. And the market came and closed below. That's why we are seeing what you're seeing. And you might want to ask, where are the sellers going to take? Because if they've entered here, they're going to take their profits down below. Let's check on the 4-hour time frame. They're going to take their profits around, let's put this level here, around 63499. Let's say around 635. So mark it on your entry. You might want to know where the sellers are taking their partials, around 635. But the main level is at 629.25. So if the sellers decide to come in here, it's going to be a very big havoc that will be created on the market. And that's what's going to happen. Actually, we are believing it, and we don't have any doubt of the power of the sellers. Yeah. So stay blessed, and nothing more to say. Our simplicity allows us just to make better decisions. No more levels here. We only enter at our levels. We don't force price outside our levels. We just enter at our levels, and we anticipate to see price. So buyers are providing a very good entry level to see. Yeah, so this is the current status of the moving average, and you can observe keenly that this moving average was being supported and price has broken the loose, and the best place to wait for price should be here or here, or at the best level will be at 640.54. And if you're waiting to jump into selling, you might wait for price at this level. Yeah, this one might be weak, but let's wait for price there. And when we check on let's check on the monthly first before jumping into conclusion. Yeah, monthly candle is looking bullish, but the rejection. So on the monthly candle, the best entry will be at around 650.50. 650.30, guys. So that's the best sell entry. When we come back to the weekly time frame, so the best place of waiting for the market will be around that place, 652. Yeah, 652 will be the best accurate place to wait for price. And if you're waiting for you to buy, you might wait for price at 642.45 and 640.54. On the daily candle, yeah, seems so perfect. So let's wait for price at these levels, and we buy back. That's how we make money. We buy it back, and then we allow sellers to continue selling. Checking the last moving average on the monthly time frame. Yeah, the price already tipped the resistance. You can observe it clearly. The second resistance was pushed price below it. When you go to the weekly time frame, yeah, the weekly zone is there around 650. The daily time frame, you can see the daily candle came from the weekly. the daily candle came from this weekly resistance. Look at that Thursday, very big bullish candle. Yeah, but you can wait for price on the daily candle at this level. There is a death cross happening, 648.98. Don't hurry the price, because it might push you back 370 pips and then push you lower. So let's wait for the price either here or here, and we might be interested to wait for price at this level. Sellers might push the price lower. Yeah, Patience pays, guys. 650. So if you're not in any position at this price, just wait for price at this level. But if you're in on the sell as we are, allow the price to move. So these two levels are the most interesting levels on the daily candle. Yeah, on the 4-hour candle, yeah, 638.59 seems to be a very strong order level. So the price is currently at this level, and you see the rejection came from this candle. The previous rejection too came from this level. Guys, we don't hit a banter when we tell you to wait for price at these levels, because they pan out very well. Yeah, there was this retest, which was about 480. Now price closed exactly at that level. So ours is to wait. On the 1-hour candle, you can see there was no time for thinking. The price closed, pushed up. So before we call it a day, let's analyze the sentiments, the fundamentals releases of the week concerning Audi. On Monday, we're having S&P Global Manufacturing PMI and S&P Global Service PMI. On Wednesday, there's no inflow of fundamentals. On Wednesday, we're having the monthly CPI indicator. That's a very big news you might want to be interested to look at. And on Thursday and Friday, no other news up to the coming month of July. Stay blessed, have a good week, and stay on top. Set and forget.